Let's write this problem. Good evening to all of you. Yes, tracer can be miscible or immiscible with the reactants. Write this problem. The exit age distribution of a reactor is given by the exit age distribution of a reactor is given by E of the exit age distribution of a reactor is given by E of t equal to del of t minus 4, where t is in seconds. Where t is in seconds. A first order reaction a first order liquid phase reaction brackets K equal to 0.25 minute inverse. Sorry, 0.25 second inverse. Second inverse is carried out in this reactor under steady state isothermal conditions. Find the conversion at the exit of the reactor. Find the conversion at the exit of the reactor. I'll repeat the question. The exit age distribution of a reactor is given by E of t equal to del of t minus 4. A first order liquid phase reaction brackets K equal to 0.25 second inverse is conducted in that reactor. Find the conversion at the exit of the reactor. So 0.632 conversion. ఏమున్నది? So I'm giving 2-3 minutes more so that everybody will be able to solve this problem. So how do you represent delta Dirac function? Delta of x. How do you define delta of x is? It is 1 when x is equal to 0. It is 0 when x is not equal to 0. That is how you define. Now what is delta of t minus 4? When t equal to 4, its value is 1. Its value is 1 when t is equal to 4. When t is not equal to 4, rest of the values it is 0. So this indicates it is a PFR with tau equal to 4. See, look at this RTD. This RTD says K, sorry, 0.25, then use 0.25. So this RTD says, look at this RTD. This RTD looks like PFR only, no? Straight line. So what is K is 0.25. 0.25 into 4 is 1. 1. What is another way of solving this question? Suppose if you don't know that it is not PFR, then this value is, when t equal to 4, its value is 1. So how do you solve? What is x bar is nothing but 0 to infinity E into x of batch reactor into dt. What is x of batch reactor? It is a first order equation, no? Minus dCA by dt equal to 0.25 CA. If you solve this one, you will get CA equal to CA naught into e power minus 0.25 into t. What is this equation? 1 minus xa equal to e power minus 0.25 into t. So what is xa is 1 minus e power minus 25 into t. If we substitute this equation, what is x bar is 0 to infinity e into 1 minus e power minus 0.25 into t into dt. But what is this integral? How do you solve this integral? What is the value of, what is integral is nothing but sum, no? So e is 0 all the way. From 0 to infinity, e is equal to 0, except when t is equal to 4. So that means 1 minus e power minus 0.25 into 4, which will get the same answer. No? What is integral? Integral is nothing but a sum of this function values. But this function has value only when t is equal to 4. That is why substitute t equal to 4. This is if I don't know, let's say the given thing is a PFR. From the concept of how do you estimate conversion from a E curve. Just note down this part. So what is delta function is? Delta inside when it becomes 0, delta of x. When it becomes 0 inside, its value is 1. When it is not equal to 0, its value is 0. Now delta of t minus 4. Now when t equal to 4, it becomes 1. When t is not equal to 4, it becomes 0. So with this, chapter 4 is completed. Now I'll give, let's say, 4 or 5 minutes time. So read the entire chapter 4 once. Entire chapter 4, which is non-ideal reactor. Starting from, let's say, what did we do? Then we will start chapter 5. Just take, I think, 6:57 time. Take 3 minutes time until 7 o'clock. Just go through entire chapter 4 and get a summary on your own. Just get an idea on your own. How does, let's say, the entire chapter 4 looks? So catalytic reactions. What is next chapter is catalytic reactions. This is mostly theory. So everybody understood what is chapter 5, chapter 4 completely. Chapter 5 is not very tough. Chapter 5 is simple, but mostly theory. Problems are also there, but most of the things it is theory. Is everybody got a clear picture of, let's say, what a chapter 4 is? This will be the last topic in CRE, catalytic reactions. After this, we'll have chapter. After this, we'll have two topics. One is non-isothermal reactions. Another one is kinetics of enzymatic reactions. That kinetics of enzymatic reactions is added this year. So what is catalytic reactions we are talking about here is, we are talking about, if you see the GATE syllabus, it is clearly mentioned that we are talking about, let's say, heterogeneous catalyst. Heterogeneous catalyst. So we are talking about reaction something like, let's say, N2 plus 3H2 gives 2NH3. What is the catalyst here? Iron. Then what is, let's say, steam reforming of methane? CH4 plus H2O gives CO plus 3H2. What is the catalyst here? Let's say nickel. Let's say cracking. Cracking, what is the catalyst? Let's say zeolite. Reforming. Reforming. What is the catalyst? Let's say platinum is the catalyst. So this kind of action that we are talking. So basically, what is this subject or what is this entire chapter is, when you have a solid catalyst, when you have a solid catalyst, how to design the reactor. Have a solid catalyst, how to design the reactor is objective here. When you have a solid catalyst in the system, you will have multiple things coming to picture. When you have a solid catalyst, So I think we lost some due to some connection. Clear? So have you noted the previous board? So what we are trying to study here is when you have a solid catalyst in the system, what are the things coming into picture? So first thing is, why do we need a catalyst is the first question that you should ask. So why do we need a catalyst? Why do we need a catalyst? What is the objective of catalyst? What does catalyst do? What does the catalyst do? So basically it reduces the activation energy, or let's say speeds up the reaction. Suppose, let's say if I have A gives B, the path is something like this. When you have a catalyst, the reaction will be not A gives B. A adsorbs onto the surface. So now A molecule sitting on the surface has totally different picture. And this A dot M is giving B dot M. So this is, let's say A gives B, whereas A dot M is this only. A dot M goes to B dot M is basically the reduction in the activation energy. Clear? So this A dot M, which is sitting on the surface, has totally a different molecule. It becomes a different molecule. That is how it is reducing the activation energy. When activation energy reduces, then what happens? Your rate of reaction increases. Your rate of reaction increases. This is, so basically catalyst is something which reduces activation energy. Does it participate in the reaction? It doesn't participate in the reaction. So that is the main question. Clear? Now let's say I'm talking about iron is the catalyst, or let's say if you take about ammonia reaction, N2 plus 3H2 gives 2NH3. What is the catalyst? Iron. Why iron is only working here? Why not nickel is not working, or let's say why platinum is not working? Why platinum is not working? This is totally interaction of gas and metal. This is totally an interaction between gas and metal. You can't say that, let's say, why iron, how Haber invented this iron as a catalyst, because he combination of materials and he realized that, let's say, there are some chemistry theories like here, but that is how. So every metal forms a complex. So that it forms a complex. That complex is the one which is participating in the reaction. So every reaction has its own catalyst. Let's steam reforming of methane has nickel as a catalyst. Let's say ammonia reaction has iron as the catalyst. So you can't say why nickel doesn't work here, or let's say why iron doesn't work there. So that is not there. Now, next thing is how the structure of catalyst looks. How the structure of the catalyst looks. So if you see the catalytic materials which are useful, like some of the platinum, gold, let's say let's say molybdenum, or let's say iron is cheap material, but nickel, all are extremely costly materials. Clear? All are extremely costly materials. Though what we do is we take a highly porous structure, something like this. This is highly porous structure of what is called as support. let's say Al2O3, SiO2. These are some of the things which are acting as a supports. On the supports, you let's say disperse the catalyst so that every particle will be, let's say if I have 1 gram of gold, I can disperse 1 gram of the gold in the entire room. Suppose if I put 1 gram of the gold as it is, how much surface is available for reaction? It is less, no. Whereas if I disperse over a fine surface, something like this, then every particle will be participating in the reaction. So this is how the catalyst looks like. It is highly porous structure. So highly porous structure. Highly porous structure. Now, suppose if we have, let's say, gas which is coming from here. Gas which is coming from here. Clear? Now, what are the resistances which are coming into picture? Now we will list out what are the new resistances coming into picture. What are the resistances which are coming into picture? Now, since you have a gas and solid, there is a formation of film. This kind of film forms over the surface. Clear? This kind of film forms over the surface. So these molecules of gas has to cross the film resistance. This is called a, let's say, film, which is why there is a film formation, because this solid and gas are in contact. So there is a formation of film. Once it crosses the film, then it finds another, then it has to enter inside this pores, no? The molecule has to enter inside the pores. This is, let's say, diffusion resistance. This is, let's say, diffusion resistance. That means the resistance for the particles to diffuse. Once the diffusion happens, then the molecule I don't know why. So it is lost again. So I think I'll draw again. So now how is my voice now? So how is the voice now? How is now? Now does it look fine? I think there is some internet problem. Power cut is there. So I have to start the story again. So the catalyst is, so the catalyst is something like this. It is a highly porous structure. And the metal is dispersed something like this. Why metal is dispersed something like this? Because you can use every particle of the metal. You can use every particle of the metal. So now you have A of the gas. A of the gas which is coming. Is my voice is clear no? Now? Yeah. Now, when you have this kind of things, let's say solid and gas are in contact, you have a film resistance, this kind of film which is formed. So whenever there are two phases in contact, there is always a formation of film. There is always a formation of film. This is what is, let's say, gas film resistance. Gas film resistance, which is also called as external mass transfer, because this is something which is externally transfer of the particles. So the gas has to diffuse through the film. The gas has to diffuse through the film and it has to enter inside the pores. Suppose it has to enter inside the pores, then only it is seeing all the particles of the catalyst, that is where it reacts, no? So this diffusion of the particles is what is called as, let's say, diffusion inside the pores, which is called as diffusional resistance. This is diffusional resistance. This is diffusional resistance, or what is called as internal mass transfer. Clear? So what are the resistances which are coming into picture? What we are trying to see is what are the resistances coming in the gas solid reactions is what I am trying to explain in the gas solid reactions. One is because of the external gas or because of the external mass transfer, there is a gas film resistance, or because of the external gas film formation. Another thing is particles which are entering inside the pores will have a diffusional resistance, which is also called as internal mass transfer, which is also called as internal mass transfer. So this is external mass transfer. External mass transfer and internal mass transfer. Once these two are over, then what happens? The particle is sitting, that is, let's say it has traveled like this. So I'm following a particle which has crossed this resistance, which has crossed the diffusional resistance. Then what happens? It has to sit on the surface. On the surface, what is the resistance you have? Reaction resistance. On the surface, you have a reaction resistance. So first, if you imagine the particle has to cross the external mass transfer or gas film resistance, then it has to cross internal mass transfer, then it has to cross the reaction resistance. Everybody is clear? Just spend some time here and understand. If my voice is not clear, please let me know. So particles has to cross the film and they has to diffuse inside the post, then they are sitting on the surface. So these are the resistances which are coming, which are gas film resistance, diffusional resistance, and reaction resistance. Suppose if there is no catalyst, then what? How many resistances you have? Do you have gas film resistance even without the catalyst? Do you have film when there is no catalyst? Why there is a film? Because this on the solid surface, the gas is in contact. That is why there is a film formation. If there is no film, if there is no two phases, there is no concept of film. No. Where film forms in the mass transfer, when gas and liquid are in contact, you will have one film on the gas side, one film on the liquid side. Similarly here, solid and gas are in contact. That is why you have a film on the gas side. You don't have film on the solid side because solid doesn't have films, no. Then inside pores, it has to diffuse and it is sitting on the surface. So reaction resistance, external mass transfer, and internal mass transfer. So this is how the catalytic reaction occurs. If there is no catalyst, then there is no concept of external mass transfer. There is no concept of internal mass transfer. So if I write all the resistances, if I write all the resistances, let's say A of the gas, which has to go to film, it has to go to diffusion, it has to go to reaction. Now, within the reaction, if you try to see, once the particle is on the surface, then there are three steps again. Three steps. What are the three steps? Adsorption, reaction, and desorption. All these three I have captured it as single surface. But suppose imagine that I am a particle. Now I have crossed the film, I have crossed the diffusion, then I am on the metal surface. Then I have to sit on the surface, which is adsorption on the surface. Then I should react, which is what is reaction. Then once my reaction is over, I have to dissolve. Then I will dissolve from the surface. On the surface, I have three steps again, because I have to sit on the surface, I have to react, then I have to come out of the surface. So all these three will happen on the surface. That is why I'm capturing all these three as surface reaction. Clear, everybody? So I'm covering all these three as a simple desorption. Third is a desorption. Desorption is coming out of the surface. Now, generally we'll call it as these three resistances only. Out of these three, whichever the slowest step will become your rate limiting. Clear? Out of these three, whichever the slowest step will govern your reaction. Suppose if film allows 10 moles per minute, diffusion allows 100 moles per minute. Let's say reaction allows 200 moles, or let's say 2000 moles, or let's say simply 1000 moles per minute. 1000 moles per minute. Then what is the overall rate that you observe? My reaction can allow 1000 molecules, My diffusion can allow 100 molecules. My film will allow 100 molecules. Then finally, what is my rate overall? How many molecules you will see converting into products? Is it 10, 100 or 1000? Then no, because see, imagine that you have 3 gates in series. Suppose imagine your house. Your house has, let's say, main door, then let's say another door, another door. So to enter into kitchen, you have to pass 3 gates. Kitchen is your target. Now my main gate allows 100 people. Then I have gate 2, which allows only 10 people. Then my kitchen gate is big enough so that it allows, let's say, 2,000 people. But if you ask people to go to the gate, then how many people you see going into the gate is finally kitchen. People will reach is only 10 people per minute, no? Because the middle gate, which is the smaller one, will govern your, let's say, rate of reaction. Got? So out of these 3, this allows 10, this allows 100, this allows 1000. Then I'll see overall 10 people are only passing the barrier because this is my bottleneck. This is my bottleneck. Because this step is not allowing not more than 10 people. So like this, sometimes this may allow more people, this may not allow more people, or this may not allow more people. So basically, out of these 3, whichever the slowest step, it becomes the rate limit. Suppose if the data is reversed, let's say this is 1000, this is 100, this is 10. Then also answer will be same. Slowest will govern your rate of reaction. Now, what we study in this chapter is, our focus here is, diffusion. My focus here is diffusion. So I am concentrating more on the diffusion. This particular chapter is to understand the diffusion. So that means 2 questions. How to know that diffusion is controlling the, how to know that, let's say, diffusion is controlling diffusion is controlling the overall rate of reaction. What is meant by diffusion is controlling the overall rate of reaction? That means diffusion is the slowest step. Second question is, if diffusion is controlling the rate of reaction, suppose if diffusion is controlling the rate of reaction, how to design the reactor? These are my questions. If diffusion is controlling the rate of reaction, how do you design the reactor? So my focus is on the diffusion here. Till now, whatever I did not start the chapter, I explained, let's say, what is the basic background, and let's say what I'm going to focus. So first thing is, how do you know that, let's say, diffusion is controlling the overall rate of reaction? So what is, if diffusion controls rate of reaction, then what happens? Second one is, if diffusion is controlling, then how do you design the rate of reaction? What is meant by diffusion controlling is, let's say, rate of film is, let's say, 100. Rate of diffusion is, let's say, 10. rate of reaction is 1000. This is what is diffusion control. How to design the reactor here? Suppose for designing the reactor, I should not use 1000 here. If I use 1000, you are overestimating the rate of reaction. My overall rate here is 10 only, no? Is 10 only, no? Because overall rate of reaction is governed by overall rate of reaction is 10. Clear? So this is what your controls the rate of reaction. In this way you can understand better. Now how to design the reactor is, when I am designing the reactor, I should not use 1000 here. You should not use 1000, you should use 10. Why focus on diffusion? Because this chapter is diffusional effects. The syllabus is understand the diffusional effects. If two rates are same, then both will control the rate of reaction. That is not the case generally. Now take 2 minutes time and read whatever we have discussed till now. Because this is a theory topic, so I will give in between, let's say, time, so that you have to read the entire things, whatever, as a story. Then let's concentrate on, let's say, first question. How to know that diffusion is controlling the rate of reaction. How to know that, let's say, diffusion is controlling the rate of reaction. This is my question. Clear? Now let's take a pour something like this. Let's take a pour something like this. Now, in reality, pores will not be like this. Pores will be irregular, but why I am taking regular pores is just for derivation point of view. Let's say this is some cylindrical pore. So I am taking some cylindrical pore. Some cylindrical pore, something like this. So you have taken a cylindrical pore where direction length here is, x direction is L, and then radius will be, let's say, R is the radius. So we are imagining, let's say, particles are diffusing like this. So we can take diffusion in the direction of R, or we can take diffusion in the direction of L, basically. Clear? Here you got it. So we are doing the in the direction of L. That means particles can diffuse in the direction of R also. Then the derivation will be different. But here I am assuming the diffusion in the direction of L. Clear? it is a cylindrical pore, but in reality the pores will not be so regular. Pores are irregular, but derivation point of view, I am taking it as a very regular pore. Clear? So I am trying to do a small derivation. Let's take a gas molecule here. So you have a gas molecule here. Then you have a film at the entrance of the pore. That means it has crossed the film. Now it is going in the direction of the particle. So that means this is going inside something like this. Let's say the concentration at the surface is CaS. The concentration at the last point is, let's say, Cal. Concentration here is L, concentration here is S. Now imagine a scenario, let's say if the pore is offering more resistance, then what is your concentration of L? Suppose if pore offers more resistance, pore offers more resistance, then what is your Cal? Will be almost equal to 0. That means particles are finding out extremely difficult to enter inside the pores. So I do not have colors, that is why I am writing multiple colors. Suppose if particles offers more resistance, then your Cal is almost equal to 0. That means if the strong pore diffusion, then what happens is your Cal is almost equal to 0. Suppose if the pore diffusion is weak, strong pore diffusion resistance, weak pore diffusion resistance. Suppose if the pore resistance is very weak, then what happens is your Cal is almost equal to Cas. Correct or not? If there is no resistance here, then the concentration is almost same throughout the pore. If the pore resistance is very high, then particles are becoming extremely difficult to enter inside the pore. Do you agree with this or not? Clear? So I'm not concentrating on the film here. We are not concentrating. We are concentrating on the diffusion. So basically what I'm trying to say is concentration profile inside the pore defines the extent of diffusion resistance. So basically concentration profile inside the pore defines the extent of diffusion extent of diffusional, or let's say extent of resistance, because these are diffusion only. Extent of diffusion resistance, or you can write diffusion resistance also. Brackets, let's say diffusion. Clear? So we need to derive the concentration inside the pore. That means if this is the pore, we should derive concentration inside the pore. This is how, let's say, the particles are splitted. This is my, let's say, air of gas. What is concentration? Cas. Concentration here is Cl. So how do you derive the concentration profile? Is, let's take a small element. Remember here I am doing the derivation in the direction of L. So I'm doing derivation in the direction of X. Suppose if you are doing, particles can diffuse like this, and particles can diffuse in the R direction also. So I am not doing the derivation for the R direction. Clear? So I will write a balance over the small element which is called as delta X. What is A balance? A balance on, let's say, delta X. How do you write A balance on delta X? Is A in is equal to A out plus A reaction. What is A in? It is diffusional resistance. No, it is diffusion of the molecules. A is entering like this, A is out like this. A in is equal to A out plus A reaction. What is A in? Is it is diffusional resistance. Is it over the entire area or only on the surface? The diffusion of the molecules is only the across the entire area or only on the surface? Across the entire area or only on the surface? The diffusion of the molecules will be over the entire area or only on the surface? So I'm not getting any replies. Over the entire, only on the surface, whole area, but the reaction will be only on the surface, no? See, imagine that you have a cylinder. So diffusion of the molecules will be entire area, but the reaction happens only on the surface. So what is diffusion is, so minus diffusion resistance into pi r square into dCA by dx at x minus d into pi r square into dCA by dx at x plus dx plus what is resistance is reaction, it is K double prime Ca rate minus Ra into, does reaction happen in the entire whole area or only on the surface? Does reaction happens on the entire area or only on the surface? Surface, no, which is 2 pi r into delta x. So diffusion of molecules will be in the entire surface, or let's say entire area, whereas reaction will be only on the surface. So understand this one. Why you are deriving concentration profile? What am I doing? I am deriving the concentration profile. Why do I need to derive the concentration profile? Because concentration profile is something which tells me what is the extent of resistance. If my concentration profile shows, let's say, lot of dip, then let's say, imagine that my concentration profiles, let's say, if this is my pore, if my concentration profiles are, let's say, this is my concentration profile, let's say CAS is equal to 100, it is dropping to 10, or let's say CAS is 100, it is dropping to only, let's say, 99.5 or 99.6. Then here there is no resistance at all. Here this is strong pore diffusion resistance, this is weak pore diffusion resistance. So basically the concentration profile inside the pore tells me whether the resistance is strong or whether the resistance is weak. Negative because this dCA by dx is negative, no, because this is diffusion equation. I am not writing anything new. This is diffusion. Diffusion is d into area into concentration gradient. You should put negative sign because molecules will always diffuse in the direction of low gradient, from high gradient to low gradient. Similarly, you put negative sign for conduction because How do you write conduction equation? Q equal to minus K into A into dt by dx. Why that minus sign? Because dt by dx is negative. Why dt by dx is negative? Because heat transfer is in the direction of high temperature to low temperature. Same logic. So everybody understood till this point? Now let's take this equation and simply let's say modify. So d into pi r square into dca by dx divided by x plus dx minus d into pi r square into dca by dx into x is equal to k prime into ca into 2 pi r into dx. Now if I bring this dx this side, then what happens here? If I take d into pi r square into this becomes dca by dx x plus dx minus dca by dx divided by x, which is divided by delta x, which is equal to k prime c into 2 pi r. Clear? Now what this becomes? Pi and pi will cancel, r will cancel. This becomes d square ca by dx square, which is equal to 2k prime divided by d into r, which is into ca. So this 2k prime by dr, I will consider it as, let's say, m square. Then what happens is, this is d square ca minus m square ca is equal to 0. Then how do you solve this equation? What is the solution for this one? ca equal to c1 into e power mx plus c2 into e power minus mx. This is what is the concentration profile. But how do you solve c1 and c2? How do you solve c1 and c2? Boundary condition. So what is my ca equal to c1 into e power mx plus c2 into e power mx. What are the boundary conditions? One is ca equal to cas when n x is equal to 0. What is another boundary condition? So now if you take the pore, particles will diffuse like this. Can the particles diffuse in the wall? Particles doesn't diffuse here, no? Then what is boundary condition here? What is boundary condition here is, when x is equal to L, the concentration of diffusion dCA by dx is equal to 0. Ca equal to Ca. Now take these two boundary conditions and solve C1 and C2. Solve C1 and C2. So what are the boundary conditions? How do you solve? X equal to 0, C1 plus C2 is equal to CAS. when x equal to L, at x equal to L, what is dCA by dx? What is dCA by dx? Which is C1 into m into e power mx minus C2 into m into e power minus mx. If you apply L here, C1 into e power ml minus C2 into e power minus ml is equal to 0. Now how do you solve C1 and C2? C1 0. Now just take this equation. How do you solve C1 and C2? So C1 into e power minus ml plus C2 into e power minus ml, which is equal to CAS into e power minus ml. So if you sum these two equations, this will cancel. What is C1 is CAS into e power minus ml by e power ml. This is C1. So once you get C1, what is C2? C2 from this equation, what is C2? C2 is equal to C1 into e power 2 ml, so which is e power ml by e power ml e power minus ml. This is what is C2. Now if you substitute C1 and C2 there, what you get is CA by CAS is equal to cos HM into L minus X by cos HML. This is what you get. So what is cos Hx formula? Cos Hx formula is e power x plus e power minus x by 2. If you use this formula, this is what you get. Just take some time and note it down. So we will stop with this derivation and then we'll continue this derivation tomorrow class. So I'll show all these slides slowly. This is what is you solved C1 plus C2. So then this is what we have written. So if does anybody understood why I write K double prime? Does anybody understood because why I write K double prime? Because the rate equation here is minus RA equal to minus 1 by S into dNA by dt, which is equal to K double prime by CA. Because this is just to tell you that this K is not based on volume. This K is based on surface. That is why I have written it as K double prime. Clear? So how do you write rate expression? Minus RA equal to minus 1 by V into dNA by dt. This is where KCA. Because this K is based on volume, no? I can write the K based on weight of the catalyst also. That is use different K prime, or let's say K triple prime or something like that. So with this one, we'll stop here and we will right? Let's say continue tomorrow. So any doubts that you have till now? So what we have done overall is, I have taken a simple pore, something like this, and I am deriving a concentration profile. How do I write a concentration profile is, I write A balance over a small strip. So I take a small strip of delta X, I write a overall A balance, A in equal to A out plus A reaction. What is A in is this diffusion, A out is this diffusion, and A reaction is this. Why I am writing K double prime? Because just to tell you that this K double prime is based on surface area. So I am trying to explain again this derivation. So second thing is, now I am trying to simplify this derivation. So this is flux in, this is flux and adjusted. So I rearrange the terms, then this becomes d square Ca by dx square is equal to 2k double prime by dr into Ca. So at 2k double prime, I have taken it as m square, then it becomes d square minus m square equal to Ca equal to 0. Then what is the solution is, Ca equal to C1 into e power minus mx, mx plus E2 into e power minus mx. How do you solve this 2 is based on boundary conditions. What are the boundary conditions? At x equal to 0, Ca equal to Cas. At x equal to L, dCa by dx is equal to 0. So what is this C1 plus C2 equal to Cas? C1 plus e power minus ml, C2 into e power minus ml equal to 0. So solved for, let's say later on, C1 and C2. I got C1 and C2 substituted here. This is what I got. So we'll continue the class tomorrow. From this derivation, we no need to remember these derivations. But how do you use this derivation is, secondary boundation, because at the wall there is no diffusion, no. Wall particles cannot penetrate, no. That is why, suppose in the heat transfer on an insulated side, what do you write as a boundary condition? Suppose if I have heat transfer on the insulator side, what is the boundary condition that you will write? dt by dx is equal to 0. Why? Because there is no conduction, no? Similarly, here also this is the wall where particles cannot diffuse. So flux is equal to 0. Any doubts that you have? C2, I told you know how to find. I derived, no. See, this is a simple derivation that you can do. C1 I did. C2 is what? Take this equation. What is C2? If you send C2 here, e power minus ml this side, what happens is C2 is nothing but C1 into e power 2 ml. E power 2 ml multiplied here, you will get Cas into e power ml by e. So this derivation you can do it. Tomorrow what do we do is take this concentration profile and we'll try to plot along the pore. So do you have any doubts till this point? Why we are focusing on diffusion? Because the syllabus is given on diffusion. I can't do anything now. The syllabus of CRE is because diffusion is more important for the catalyst. So what do you mean by pore is because it is a porous structure. The structure of the catalyst looks like lot of pores, and then you have defined diffused the catalyst inside the pores. So that means it is like a cave. Inside there are lot of, let's say, diversions, so that you can put more material into the pores, so that the particle, that means you can, suppose if I have 1 gram of gold, I can disperse the entire room with nanoparticles. That is how it is. How many classes? So I think 3, 4 classes more. Maybe I think this particular chapter 5 will take, let's say, 2 more classes. Then I will have, let's say, 2 or 3 classes for the non-isothermal reactors, and let's say, so overall 5 or 4 classes is there. Somebody is asking why, what is C2 derivation? C2 derivation. So you can derive on your own. That is nothing. Or you put C1 in the first equation. You put C1 here, you will get C2, no? Or you put C1 here, you will get C2, no? That minus will come on the other side, no? I will share the MSUB copy. I'm getting many mails, so I'll share. I'm planning to share, let's say, in the after once, let's say, subject comes to almost over, so that you will start solving that MSUB problems also. I will try to solve MSUB problems also, then I'll give. I'm not getting any technical doubts, so let's meet tomorrow then.